Hello, welcome to 5 Mad Heathens. I'm Sofia, answering Javier's question of the week about rights and privileges. I would say a right is something rather objective. Every citizen is entitled to have at least a certain amount of rights according to their situation in life. So there would be different things that would influence your rights, like your culture, your religion, your upbringing, your circumstance in life, your health conditions, your economic conditions, how many children you have, whether you're single, married, divorced, marital status. So there are a bunch of factors that really influence what rights you are entitled to have. But the baseline is that in society you will always have the right to have, do or be something. So there are law rights to do with the government. But I would also suggest that there is another kind of right that is going to be very hard to explain, but it has to do with this peer pressure. And when we are in a certain situation, in a sort of dilemma, and we have to be morally correct, we have the right to act in a certain way. And I would say that is a right. We have to, it comes with this comprehension, this understanding from another human being when you don't do exactly the same or the correct thing, but you had the right to do it because you were in a stressful situation. If that makes any sense, but it's very hard to explain. Shifting on to privileges, a privilege is rather a reward. It's something good that happens to you, but doesn't have to necessarily happen. A right is necessary, a privilege is unnecessary. And a right is objective and a privilege is subjective. So if you find yourself in a situation that brings you privilege, you earned to be there, and you did something, there was this pattern of action that led you to have that privilege. If you erase this pattern of action, if you change something, you would obviously lose it. In rights, the only way you lose your right is by changing the circumstance of life. So if you become married, you lose your rights of a divorced or a widow or a single lady because you are married. So it's a forced circumstance that makes you lose or gain the rights. In a privilege, it's really up to you, dependent on you and not on another external source. I think it's rather important that we have this distinguish between a right and a privilege, and it's even quite beneficial to have this difference for us to educate our children. Javier mentioned in his video, when I was a child, blah 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 blah, and I really found it funny, the example, the way he suggested for us to start speaking about this topic. When you're a children, you want to make everything seem as it is a privilege rather than a right, because when we have rights we take them for granted, and a privilege we don't. And sometimes it's best for us to educate our children like that, so they have this upbringing of valuing what they have and taking it as a privilege and not something that they will always have as a right. Okay, so that's my answer for the week. Really enjoyed it. Well done, Javier. I believe now Douglas is posting the new question of the week. Should be interesting, and I'm looking forward to that. So I hope you guys are all well, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.